Hey everybody, this is Charlie Musselwhite, and you're listening to Athena After Dark. I ain't lying. Thank you, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to Athena After Dark. That was the incredible Charlie Musselwhite. And yes, it's that time of the season. We have the Christmas dealy boppers going on here. Frosty today. Shake him a little bit, snow him up a little like my glass globe. I hope you all had a fantastic week. I know we did. We have a great show with a great guest tonight. Um, we got some good stuff coming up. I'll let you know all about it. Let's kickstart this baby and get it rolling. All righty. So we have upcoming events. I know the holidays are gonna take everybody's time, consume it all, and spend with family and friends and good food and lots of fun. But after that, we got to start thinking about our next ride and season. So, okay, um, tickets are on sale. Got to tell you that for the Tennessee Mountain Music and Motorcycle Revival. The TMMR is a fantastic event in May. Uh, in It's at Loretta Lynn's Ranch at Hurricane Mills. My goodness,
You'll get it.
I'll get it.
Ranch in Tennessee.
Hurricane Mills, Tennessee.
You'll revive it.
Don't mind me. I had the flu over the week during the week, and it was my brain's still not working too well. But we'll get with it. You guys know the program, right? Okay, so next we have Bike Week coming up. This is weird because they changed the date, so it's the 1st through the 10th. You know, every once in a while it'll start earlier. So make sure you mark your calendars. Lots of good fun going on there. Cycle Source shows, so much good stuff. Like you have to be there. Go to the Speedway, check it all out, ride the demo rides, go out and see some of the great shows. And the reason to be in Daytona, of course, is Willie's Tropical Tattoo Chopper Time show. So we'll all be there. Everyone will be there. Tonight's guest will be there, I'm sure. So we have that. And then the end of March after Daytona is the Donnie Smith show. Okay, so this is one we're definitely going to be at this year. We're super excited about it. And if you get a chance, I believe Miss Gypsy's going to be there, work schedule allowing. And yeah, we're going to have a great time. It's in Minnesota, St. Paul at the River Center. And yeah, it'll be cold, but inside it'll be nice and toasty warm with lots of good people, lots of good motorcycles, and lots of good times. So mark your calendars. Maybe we'll see you there. Okay, so next we have coming up Fan 5 Good Things this week. You know, I always say 5 good things, and it'll change your perspective. So we have William from Barstow. He says, I completed my Raider training course this past weekend. Thanks for the inspiration. He asked me a couple of cool questions, and I told him just go take the course and then rent a motorcycle and see which one fits you after you have the course. So I'm glad to hear that, William. Thanks. I'm glad you wrote in. Margaret from Dunellen. I rode myself for the first time, and I'm terrified and elated all in one. Well, Margaret, good for you. I'm excited to hear that. And yeah, it seems a little hectic, but once you get in the motion and you get your groove going, it's joy. It's as much joy as humanly possible. So I tell everybody that's as close to God as you get, riding motorcycles and riding horses. So good for you. CJ from Sioux City. He says, we had a baby girl on December 5th, 2023, and we named her Harley Jean. How cool. The best brand in the world. You know, I'm a Harley Davidson girl. And then Jean Davidson. She's part of the Davidson family, so that's a good name. We like that one. All right, well, congratulations to you, and send pictures as she gets older. You know, I love to see the kids. That's my favorite thing. Okay, Mark from, let's see it. See if I massacre this. Wapiak. I believe that's in Canada. He says, my father asked to go for one last ride as he is at death's door. So my buddy bought a sidecar and took him for a ride. Look at the camera, honey. I'm looking at the camera. I'm trying to read and look at the camera. Don's busting on me back there. He said I had the flu, so I'm a little slow. It's okay. Shout out to Jennifer, my songbird, Sid Danger. I hope he's feeling better. They had COVID. A few people had COVID. Tony Pan, I hope you're feeling better. We love you. All right. So he says, my father asked to go for one last ride as he's at death's door. So my buddy bought a sidecar and took him for a ride. Good friends and motorcycles. I agree. That's what this life is all about for many of us. You know, if that's the way it is and that was his last wish, well, kudos to you all for making sure his dreams come true. That's fantastic. All right. And then Barbara from Alberta, another Canadian. She says, I've learned to change my own fluids. See, and my ring light's in the way, even though it's not on. Don't change it now. The lighting will be bad. Dawn's going to mess with me now. That's even worse. So wait, I got to read that. What does it say? Oh, that's funny. Says I learned to change my bikes on my own fluids on my bike. Says Athena, thanks for the guidance and encouragement. Another one, when everybody writes in and they ask me questions, or they, I give them a number, I let them text me. Yes, I spend a lot of time doing that, but I think it's fantastic because anything I can do to inspire others, to inspire younger riders, older riders, it's never too late. And the joy that you get is just beyond compare to anything else. So, and you never see a motorcycle parked outside of a therapist's office. Just saying. That's better. You can stop there. Dawn's messing with the light. All right, everybody. So please remember to support our friends. We're going to go ahead and put that in here. Okay, and we got Viking Bag, Cycle Source, Techno Research, Paco, S&S, Farm Life Creamery, Biker Lives Matter, Miss Maggie's, South Country. And if you guys want a place to stay in Daytona, S&S, Chicago Motor Supply, Willie's Tropical Tattoo, Baker, Biker Bells. We love our guests. There's a few more coming on there. We just want to make sure everybody supports all those that support us. So I appreciate you all just checking them all out. That would be great. Okay, so now we have a giveaway. As we know, I have contests here and there for certain things. Last couple times been for the ladies. We had a Northern Tool giveaway that was for a little bit about everybody. Tonight, this one's open to everyone, not just the ladies only. So our new supporter, Viking Bags, they sent us this incredible bag. Let's see if I can get it in the camera there.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's pretty awesome. Goes on the back of the bike. You can carry it like a backpack. It's super cool. It really is. And it's huge. And then there's another bag inside. Hold on here. I'm going to pretend like I know what I'm doing, maybe. The key is being able to get in and out of them, right? Let's see how good this one is. It's got pockets everywhere. And when I say everywhere, everywhere. But there's also this other bag that straps on top of it. And it kind of goes on like that on the top. Can you see it? Yeah, it straps on. It's pretty neat. So anyways, we have a video of the bag, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you how you can win this bag for your motorcycle. Don's going to attempt to do this. He's doing good.
Hey, this is Kendall with Viking Bags, and welcome to a detailed review of the Viking Dagar Sissy Bar Bags. Dagar is an Old Norse word which means day. This is a perfect day bag for anyone who's looking for a bold yet sporty look with a lot of features. The mounting of this bag is easy and quick, making it the best bag for around town. This bag can be secured on a luggage rack, sissy bar, or the back seat. The bag comes with a rain cover and several quick release straps for mounting. The bag includes a top carry handle and shoulder strap for easy toting off bike. The bags have lockable zipper pulls, making it safer for your belongings. The bag is made with heavy-duty Cardura and Viking leather panels. If you have any further questions about these bags or fitment, give our motorcycle luggage experts a ring and we'll be able to help you out. Thanks for visiting us at Viking Bags. Ride safe.
How about that? That is awesome. It's a cool bag. It really is. So if you would like to have this bag for your motorcycle, I'm asking everyone to write in a small paragraph about where you would take this bag on its first trip. So be creative, send me good stories, send a picture of you and your motorcycle, and let's see. So through the holidays, next week we have a really good guest, and it's listed on the website. I'll let you know a little hint. He has a cocktail company. He rides a motorcycle. He's awesome, and he has a cool dog. So next week's guest. But anyways, if you write in the paragraph, you can send it to, there's a link that you can write in and chat with us on athenaafterdark.com, or you can also send it to athenaafterdark@aol.com. And if you want, you can message us through the Athena After Dark Productions Facebook page, and we'll go ahead and take those in. And let's see. So next week, Christmas, we're not having a show because everyone's going to be with their families. It's on a Monday. Crazy happens. So, oh yeah, a couple weeks from now. You had to remind me of that. Like I didn't already know that, but so okay. So then I guess for our New Year's show, we'll go ahead and we'll read the winning paragraph, show the picture, and we will go ahead and give this bag away, and you will enjoy it. Now remember, be creative, and yeah, Dennis, thank you. We do have the best sponsors for sure. Okay, so everybody knows the part I love about this show the most is our guest. Tonight, I have a fantastic guest, Kevin Teach Baas. He is a community leader. He is a bike builder. He is a rider. He teaches a STEM program with kids in school, and he uses motorcycles as the medium. He has a shop class. It's super cool. He brings a smile to your face any and everywhere you go. He's just an incredible human being, and his family as well. And we all love him as part of our motorcycle family. So we're going to go ahead and do the pictures. You guys know I love the pictures. All right, this one was taken by Michael Lichter. That's him working. And look at the smile. He's always smiling. In all these pictures, you'll see him smiling for sure. So, and there you go. That's what he does. If you're going to do it and you do it right, there you have it. Let's say vintage is his thing. All right, look at that. We're out getting dirty. I'm sure that was at a race because, you know, that's what they do. It's all about the fun. Really is all about the fun. And there he is. Look at him going. I believe that's probably like Sons of Speed race. Something. Oh, no, that's Harley Davidson race. We'll have to ask him about that one. There he is with his beautiful wife, Amy. They're so awesome, the two of them together. Like Don and I, they're like a tag team. Look at, and teaching them young. We do that here too. Barron's all about the motorcycles. Our kids grew up all about the motorcycles, so love it. All right, and there's Gavin on the panhead. There's a story behind that. We're going to talk about that, I'm sure, too. And they grow fast, I know. Remember when these kids were just little. There he is. Look at him. Tongue out. Never stick your tongue to anything frozen, right? Because I'm a Florida girl. We don't have that issue here, but I've heard stories. So just saying, and somebody turned the heat off here. There he is. Look at that. That's what he does. We got to love it. Absolutely love it. American flag going there. That's right. Oh, out on the beach. Daytona racing. That is fantastic. Pretty sure that would be Daytona. Oh, there's Miss Amy in the snow. Could you imagine, babe, riding in that like that? That's crazy. Not is it only cold, but it's got to be slippery as hell, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like that, that and gravel, I can skip it. Look at that. Beautiful work. I mean, beautiful work. You know, nice flathead. I love that. There's the flip side. I love these pictures because, you know, it's what we all do. Very good. I love those wheels. Vader mags are good. Yes, and like I said, he's always having a good time. That's the best part. He makes us all smile. Anywhere you are, there it is. They looking good. And I believe this next one is him and Mailman. And then look, they're taking a selfie while they're riding, and he's photobombing them. You know, that's just his spirit for sure. All right. These are some of the ones I picked, and then I have ones that he picked. This is at the Harley Davidson Museum on display. I'm more than sure. Could have been Mama Tried, but we'll ask that question. And then there's, I believe that's on Bass Acres. Then they do metal signs. Look at nobody cared about us chickens. Sense of humor. Everybody's got to have one. I posted something today about a sense of humor. Now look at these two. Look how excited they are about this fender. Like that's true motorcycle love and true love there for real. Having a good old time. Okay, now this is at Doherty's. I believe I'm correct when I say that. Kevin's in the Cadillac. I absolutely love this picture. I found this picture. My dad drove a Cadillac like that. And then look at the FLH. You know, it's all blinged out. It goes with the whole roll. Look at all the greenery in the back. The family fun. Gotta love it. Food, fun, and motorcycles with family. There he is, ice racing. Again, could you imagine? Brr. Look at that. That's fantastic. And there's the wonderfully handsome couple. She's so gorgeous. She makes him look good. He knows it too. That's funny. Okay, we got more pictures. That was it, right? Okay. Now we get to bring him in. So everybody, my favorite part of the show, we get to bring in Kevin Teach Bass. You ready? Okay. All right. Hey, how are you today, sir?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Merry holidays, Happy New Year, all those good fun things.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to you as well. We're just we're excited this time of year. You know, the spirits get lifted up. A lot of joy to be spread and happiness. And you know, I hear you talking about being in Florida, not worrying about that cold and winter. So you don't know
Oh,
the pains I go through here. So we try to stay as positive we can. And like you say in those pictures, I'm always trying to smile and make the best of a shitty situation, right?
a cold situation. We're all sniveling here because it's going to be 40 tonight and we're going to freeze to death. Nobody's ready for that.
I'd be riding in shorts at 40 degrees.
I know, and that's crazy. We always know who the tourists are. You can go by the beach and you can tell the ones that don't live here because they have shorts and tank tops on with their flip-flops. And then the other ones with the sweaters and the sweatpants, you know they live here. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
How is everything with you? What you got going on?
Oh man, you know, life has been great. Class is going good. I got a million things happening all at once, which is, you know, crazy but good. But my high school class, the chopper class, is still going strong. We're redoing a 42 UL flathead chopper with an original Donnie Smith Brothers Fetro girder on it. And we're gonna debut that this year at the Donnie Smith show, and hopefully kind of surprise Donnie. I'm sure he's heard us talk about it in other areas, but he won't see it till the show, and it'll be kind of neat for him to kind of get a look at one of his old front ends and frames with what we did with it. And inside of that, we got the Northern Tool. We're doing a rat rod build right now, and Billy Lane and Richard Petty are our mentors. So my students get FaceTime with those guys once a month and talk shop and explain what they're doing and pick those guys' brains. So that's been really cool.
Awesome.
On the home front, you know, I'm moving up the ranks with Fix My Hog. So they got me hired now for their vintage bike series. So I've been doing a lot with them. They're actually going to come with me to Mama Tried this year, and we're going to walk around and interview people. So hopefully I see you there so we can talk to you.
Yeah. Fix My Hog. Tell us what that is.
So to Fix My Hog, it's like an online database for all service, you name it, videos for Harleys. And they started as more of the newer bikes and how to do service work on, you know, all the new stuff. And they never had anybody going through like, you know, knuckles and pans and flatheads and sportsters. And so they decided, you know what, you know, we're looking at broadening our viewer base, and we know that old bikes are really popular, and even a lot of these guys that only own new bikes like to watch the older stuff just to see it and get a little history lesson. So they said, hey, would you be interested in trying one? We'll do like a knucklehead episode with you. So I'm like, yeah, let's see what happens. So they came into my shop. I redid my wife Amy's knuckle, took the whole thing apart, put a new frame in on it, and rebuilt it on camera. And they said it just went crazy. Like people loved it. So they came back. We did a panhead one. We did a Sportster one, flathead one. So it's going good. It's fun for me because they come to my shop. You know, I can just be here at home doing my thing, and they film me, and you know, I can just talk about what I love. And so it's easy for me to, you know, kind of fit in with what they're looking for. And it's a good bunch of people, man. We just had their Christmas party the other night. They invited me to come, and I got to meet the president and all the higher ups, and they're real grateful for what I've brought to the table already. And we're looking at, because, you know, obviously with like servicing bikes, there's only so much you can show. I mean, you pretty much, once you covered everything. You know, if you're going to adjust the clutch, it's not too different between years for the most part. But, you know, after I go through all this, it's like, well, what do we want to do? Like, are we going to just keep, you know, doing the same stuff with a different style bike? Because that gets kind of, you know, repetitious.
Right.
So we're going to start actually kind of doing like Teaches Travels or something like that. We're not sure how we're going to call it yet. And I'm just going to start hitting all the, you know, like, I don't know, you probably remember back in the day, I used to ride my knuckle to every event, everywhere. I mean, I was, and it was fun, you know, and I was able to do that thankfully, because my wife was lenient with me and taking care of the little ones while I was out traveling and doing this stuff. But, you know, we want to kind of go back to that sort of thing again, but now we'll have an actual like good camera crew with me to get good footage, and then they can edit it, and so people can have an experience of an event where they can't be there. It really brought me right away thinking about the smokeout this year. Like the smokeout was amazing, and I think about all the years way back when I used to ride out there, and I'd be at the smokeouts, and nobody really had any good footage. You get a little stuff here and there, but it wasn't like you could watch a whole episode. And what kind of strung a tune with me is weird as it may sound, is I was just going through channels on the TV the other day, and the Full Throttle Saloon, their old TV show, popped
They're
up.
always on, right?
And the editing is terrible. The storyline is crap. You can tell a lot of stuff they do. It wasn't like natural. It's like a lot of it was like, oh man, this is kind of cheesy. But I watched it because I'm like, it just brought me back to those, because I was at Sturgis when that stuff was happening. I'm like, oh I was there, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to do something where we can document all these events and rallies, but really nicely, and talk to people and get good footage. And so that way, like, let's say you missed a smokeout this year. Hey, guess what? It's on, Teach's YouTube channel or wherever we're going to put it on, Fix My Hogs channel. And you can get the whole recap from start to finish of the smokeout. Everybody that was there, all the vendors, all the, any awards that were given, any of the bike show stuff. So if somebody missed
it, the people,
so if they miss it, they can actually see it and feel like they are there. And so we're going to start traveling around. We're going to be doing Daytona Bike Week. We're doing Mama Tried. Hopefully Tennessee, go out to the Music Revival one. Buck's been a real good guy, asking me to come out for years, so I want to get out there. Randy, I got to get out to see, Cycle Showcase. And just, try to like start branching out to all my friends
that's in February, Cycle Showcase. I got to put that in the upcoming event.
I've never been to it, and I feel terrible. I love Randy, and he's an amazing man, and it's a great show. Just for me as a teacher, and just logistics with taking school off, and then the cost for me to travel somewhere, like it's tough. I got 3 boys still under our house, and it's like you got to pay the bills first. Partying comes second nowadays, and
we know about that.
What's great with the Fix My Hog gig is, they're going to be, getting me hotel rooms now. And, if I have to fly in, they'll fly me in. And so that'll help big time, and get me back out there. Cause, it broke my heart when I kind of dropped off. I was doing everything for a long time, and then I kind of had to refocus and be there for my kids when they were in sports, and I was coaching and doing stuff. And now that my boys are getting older, and pretty soon we'll kind of be empty nesters, it's going to be kind of fun to start getting back out before I'm too old to do it. And get back to my roots.
Empty nesting is weird, but same like you. We fell out for a bit because my dad was sick, and we had to take care of him. And then, the kids, they're grown. We made it through the teenage years and all that shit. Now we have the grandson, so we've stabled out and we get the time with him. But yeah, that's there's no heartbreak in that, because you are loved everywhere. Everyone. You are an iconic. You got an award this year too at the Smokeout in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. It was an honor, and like 20 years ago, I was at the first Smokeout with a little card table saying, "Hey, I'm a school teacher." Nobody knew who I was. The only one who knew I was really was Edge, because he invited me to come to it.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, man, I want you to come. You should set up a table and just talk about what you do. People will dig it." I guarantee it. He was into it. And I'm like, well, got together a group of my buddies from Milwaukee, and we had Big Ben semi-trailer and little card table, and we got out there, and I put up the table, and I remember meeting Chris Callan. He was walking around with a backpack, just promoting Cycle Source magazine, and when he was just getting her going. And that's what made that award so cool, is like 20 years later, Chris, is up there kind of running the show nowadays, and our connection that started then that never went away. We've been brothers ever since, and good friends, and had a lot of travels together. And it was an honor. I was blown away, and it's something that you don't do this because you expect that, but when it happens, it humbles you. It makes you realize that the work you do, doesn't go unnoticed, and it feels good, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it fills you up inside. So how can people donate to your high school chopper class? What can they do to help? I know you have some good sponsors, but you can never have too many.
Yeah, we've had some people, that can send, it's tax deductible donations to my school program. I guess the easiest thing would be to get a hold of me. I can give you the school address and how to do that. But I'm at Lakeville North High School now, and there's a lot of budget cuts going on in the district right now, which is terrible for shop because we're always the first ones to get cut when there's budget cuts. And I've been real fortunate. This year has been a good year. Dave Perowitz invited me out to the fall foliage run, and I stayed at his house the first night, which was amazing. I got to see his little shop where he started way back when, and got to see his new place now and go through his house and see all of his memorabilia, and it was pretty cool because Dave's always been someone I looked up to and an idol of mine, and to have him say, "Hey, come stay overnight at my house," it's like, well, geez, this is pretty neat. And we ended up raising a good amount of money at their banquet. He had me go up and talk to all the hamsters, and they're very generous, and they all really have big hearts, and it helps. So right now this year we're above sinking. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Well, what we'll do is we'll post the information. You give it to me. We'll post it on the website so that they have your contact info so that anyone that wants to get involved, because it's definitely worthwhile for sure. What you do is amazing. And I know it comes from the heart. So that's the most important part of it. So, all right. So then you're coming to Bike Week. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
I'll see you at TMMR maybe, because I'll be there for Bill Dodge's Invitational.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm loving it. It's, you're just like, you worry. And then he tells me, he's like, don't stress, whatever you do. It's like, I don't care what you do. Just don't stress. It's not about stress. I'm like, I like that. That's a good way to go.
Just
that's
be
not
you.
possible.
Be you, do you. You'll be
do
good.
me. That's what we do. So how do you feel about some questions? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So we're going to start out with some fun ones for sure. And so we started our new streaming thing here, and it's funny because I used to have a prompter on the other one, but it went off the chain like crazy. It lost its mind. So I figured, well, what the hell? I'll go ahead and memorize all the questions. That didn't work out. So now I'm just gonna read them. So dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs. Big dogs or little dogs?
We got bulldogs. We're a big bulldog fan. We used to have labs. I hunted a lot, but then when I couldn't hunt anymore, we got in our little stinky bulldogs. That way I have somebody to blame my farts on.
That's funny because they are stinky. My daughter's dog, she has an American bulldog, and that dog is stinky. Apples or oranges?
Apples. Apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Okay. Are you a straight apple guy, or are you an apple peanut butter, apple something?
Crown apple and 7.
I like that. I like that one. That's pretty good. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to my little thingy. Why are you laughing at me? Don's over there laughing at me. I had the flu this past week. My brain is not working like it should be. So it's okay. And I have to magnify everything because I'm squinting at everything. It's okay, babe. It's gonna be all right. It's okay. He's Jiminy Cricket. So is it Jiminy Cricket or Jimmy the Cricket?
It's Jimmy the Cricket.
Jiminy.
See,
Jiminy?
It's Jiminy Cricket, not Jimmy the Cricket. He's got my grandson convinced it's Jimmy the Cricket.
Jimmy the Cricket.
Anyways, okay.
If you're in Brooklyn, it's Jimmy the Cricket.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the only northern shit I know.
That's funny. Okay, hotel or camping?
Camping.
Camping.
Lots of camping. I can't stand hotels. Bunch of bed bugs and stains. Ugh. Get me out into nature. Give me a knucklehead on the side of a bubbling brook with a tent, and I'm good to go.
I love that answer.
Babbling Brook.
A babbling brook. He said bubbling brook. I like that. Okay, slow or fast?
Fast all the time. Wide
Fast
open. You gotta go. If you're not first, you're last.
Sunshine or moonshine?
I like drinking moonshine in the sunshine.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so then what's your favorite song?
I think Waylon Jennings, it's got all my favorite songs. I've always been crazy, because I am.
Yes.
Keeps me from going insane.
Yes. I can relate to that.
I named Bronco after Waylon Jennings. I got an old 78 Bronco that came from Texas. It's got bullet holes in it. And You know, I just whenever I hear whaling, it just puts me in a different state of mind. I walk a little different. I tap my toe a little different. I light up a cigar, and it's good.
Right. You chill. That's me with Lukenbach, Texas. You can put that on, and it's like it calms the savage beast.
Oh yeah,
I just
hell
go
yeah.
from 100 to like low key. All right. So, what's your favorite food while you're traveling?
I like to get a steak anywhere I can. So even when I'm on a bike traveling the country, I'll try to find some little steak joint and I just love a good steak. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
Yes, that's right. See, we know the good stuff. Okay, so if you were a cocktail, what would you be? I think you already
Brandy
know.
old fashioned.
Really?
Yeah, that's a Wisconsin tradition. I used to drink
It
them with
is.
my family and my grandpa growing up. I'm from Milwaukee originally, and to this day, man, when I go anywhere, it's hey, can I get a brandy old fashioned? They're like, what? And I said, just give me some brandy and do your old fashioned. We'll be good. You know, I don't do the whiskey
That's.
old fashions or the Manhattans or anything.
Have you ever had brandy and squirt? That
No,
grapefruit soda?
no. Is it good?
So my kid's dad, God rest his soul, he was from Minnesota, and that was the thing that they drank in high school. It was brandy and squirt, and it's the bomb, like literally, and it'll get you bomb too because it goes down way faster. But it's a nice buzz. It's
I wonder
interesting,
if it
and
could
it
be
keeps you
kind of
warm.
something like a brandy old fashioned sour, maybe. Kind of give you that.
But it's bubbly because it's like a soda, the squirt,
True.
so it's
Yeah, yeah.
pretty neat. Hey, everybody, we see you out there. Mark, Jared, I'm glad you
Hey,
guys
brother
are
Mark.
here.
Mark, New
Love that.
Berlin, Panheads forever.
Panheads forever. Gotta love
Mark,
that.
Mark's one of my family friends forever. He rides a lot. He's got a really cool shovel head, and I sold him a panhead years ago. He came up to get it. Good dude, so it's good to see him there.
Nice. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I love my shovel heads. Don wants a panhead. I gotta get him one. He wants a 52. It's on the list. It's on the list of things to acquire.
Yeah,
For sure.
my dad's panhead is a 52. Is one of them anyway. He got it before he went to Vietnam. And
Yep.
so it's in my book. I wrote about it, and I actually built one of the one that's in the museum right now. I kind of built as a replica of Dad's 52. Paint job's different, obviously, but you know, that was kind of one I did. I looked at Dad's old pictures of how he had it with the little wassail tank and the cocktail shakers, and I just built one to look like his, and it's
Right.
pretty cool. And I got 252 motors on my shelf someday to build for each of my boys that want to ride, because I'd like to have each of them, you know, and then we could have a grandpa and grandson 52 pan
Yeah.
ride.
Generations, right. That's fantastic. That is awesome. Where did they get your book?
Wolfgang Publications put it out. I used to have them to sell, but now I don't know. I haven't asked them to buy anymore lately. I think it's on Amazon if you just type in,
Okay.
you know, Kevin
Cool.
Baas, how to build an old school bobber.
Okay.
I wasn't in charge of the title. That wasn't a title I wanted, but the publisher
okay.
made me call it that.
Mm.
But anyway, it's nothing great. You know, it's kind of a how-to for dummies, but it just tells my story. It has some chapters with the students in my class showing how we built some bikes together, and just a good way to get people oriented on like, hey, how do I get a bunch of parts from a swap meet and put together like a cool old panhead or a shovel head or a knucklehead, you know?
Right. All right. So we're going to get into serious questions. How long have you been riding?
I'm 50 years old now. I bet you I've been riding for about 45 years because my dad got me on a little Briggs and Stratton mini bike with training wheels because I was too small to stand it up myself. So I've been riding that, and then that just progressed into a Yamaha YZ80, and then my first 58 Sportster, and then my 57 Pan, and so about 45 years of my 50 years of existence, I've been riding something anyway. Maybe even shooting longer than that. He might have had me on stuff when I was 2-3 years old. Little
Right.
electric ones.
As much as you can recollect. That's funny. So 58 Sportster, the XLCH, it had the boots. That was an awesome motorcycle.
Yeah.
I'm not a Sportster girl. That thing, it had such a classic look, you know. It's just very. Was your stock, or did you top it off?
I was a basket case of this and that. I mean, so some stock, some not, but I put it together as stock as I could. It has like drag pipes and drag bars on it, but other than that, but excuse me, my dad painted it, which was cool. And now Amy learned on that bike, and you know, now we have it up in my barn. It's up on the shelf. I got a pallet rack and I got it all the way up. is kind of a keepsake. I don't ever want to be short of money and say, hey, let's just sell the Sportster. So I put it up high
Right.
because
But
it means something from Pops, and we built it together and we rode together on it for years. And someday I'm hoping that I'll give it to, my boys will get some of the other bikes. I'd like to give that Sportster to one of my grandkids someday, if they're into bikes.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. I love that. Okay, so what was your biggest challenge in motorcycling? Who do you feel like your biggest challenge has been?
I think my biggest challenge getting into it and doing it and just embracing it is just, not not letting all the hype and the BS get to me. There's always a keyboard commando that's going to rip on you. There's always a guy who's just negative about everything that's going to talk smack about what you built and how you built it and what's this and what's that. And I'm not into that, man. It's like positive energy with me. I
Right.
see a lot of stuff I don't like, but I just let it be. I know the person that did it enjoys it and it puts a smile on their face. So God
Right.
bless them. Who am I to say it's ugly or stupid or not right? And that's what I just, that was a hard part for me, is when I was getting into this, going to shows, and it was, early on, it felt like it was kind of a competition with everybody. You were trying to get your name out there and be noticed,
Right.
and
Oh yeah.
a lot of critics, a lot of drama, a lot of backstabbers, and I just didn't like any of that. And I just focused more on my high school stuff, as and that just took me where I needed to be. And now I'm happy where I'm at. I got nothing to prove, nobody to impress. Just do what I do to love and make sure my students are getting a good experience and finding their career paths, and go to shows and see all you and smile and hug and
Yeah.
embrace all the good times. Positive energy is what this world needs.
And that's it too, totally. And I get you on that, especially being a woman who does it. You get a lot of naysayers that say, oh, do you really fix bikes? And then, they'll break down somewhere and I fix their bike on the side of the road. It's like, oh yeah, you really do that. It's nice. I think you've been there once or twice for that. You've seen a couple naysayers that I've fixed them up on the side of the road.
Yeah, you got to keep them in check. Let them realize, like without pointing a finger at them, you just do something like that, and then they walk away going, "Oh, damn, I better, I got my foot in my mouth now. I better stop talking shit."
But and nobody ever really was derogatory or negative. It's just that, as even a man doing it, you have to earn your way in respectfully. There's a lot of people that want to pound on their chest or jump up on a milk crate and say, I did this and you should respect me. But that's not how it rolls in our world. You know what I mean? We've worked hard in the trenches together, all of us, and come up the same way, and, not had a budget to go places and still had to be there and done it. And,
Right.
it looks glorious from, the side of YouTube or, what they see on Discovery or whatever, but it's not all the glory. It's all the love is what it is.
Yeah.
Then it's the glory, because
One piece at a time, right?
That's it.
Johnny
Right.
Cash,
Johnny
right
Cash
there.
song. That's right. I love
Think
it.
about in the heyday, like how many people we'd see at the shows and stuff with brand new, huge, fancy trailers and trucks and these bikes that, and all of a sudden a month later, where'd they go? Where are they?
Right.
They're gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember rolling into New Orleans one time with the trailer, and they're like, "Oh, well, who's unloading your trailer?" I'm like, "Me." They're like, "It's 44 feet long. You got 8 bikes in there." I'm like, "Yeah." Where's Don? Don's at the house, and like you for Amy, although we're a team, he'd stay at the shop. He'd make sure my dad was okay. He'd make sure the kids were okay. The pets and everything. So now it's his turn. So if you need any if you need to do any Evo filming or anything like that, because that's his. He loves his Evos. So for your TV thing, if you ever need any Evo stuff, I volunteer him now. Hear that, babe? I'm pimping you out. All right. So, what is your favorite motorcycle? Like, out of all the ones you've ever had.
Yeah, obviously my knucklehead Elvis, my 47. That's the one that I rode.
Cool.
I rode it across country to
Everywhere.
California and back, and it's the one that most people met me on when I was, actually a lot of people met me on my Panhead early days, but then when I actually started getting out riding across country, I was riding on Elvis, and I met a lot of people on it, and it's kind of funny even to this day. If I'm at an event on some different bike, you're like, "Hey, where's Elvis?" People, it's like everybody loves Elvis. Like, where's Elvis
is
at?
Cool.
Yeah.
Elvis is cool for sure.
And the stories we have and the travels we've done. I mean, I built that bike I don't know, 25 years ago, and started with just a set of cases that came out of Chicago and a frame from here and a front end from there and this, and it was, it was a Johnny Cash special for sure as I went through it. And I would just get on it. I knew every nut and bolt, and I'd ride it. I went to
Right.
the first 3 big mountain runs. I rode out there and back on well, 2 of them were Elvis, one of them was Strange Brew, but I made sure, like, hey, the first 3 BMRs, I said, Chris, I'm riding out on a knuckle and coming all the way back home to Minnesota. So Tennessee and back. It was some good adventures, good stories.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I guess then my next question would be, what's your favorite route that you've ever ridden? Like, in all your travels, what's the best you've ever seen?
The best ride I ever did was when I went with Warren. Mama tried Warren Jr. and Scotty JFB and Josh Herment and some of our buddies. We left. We kind of met down in Clear Lake, Iowa, and then we shot across and rode all the way to Born Free 3. So
Okay.
it was like, man, this was like early days of Born Free, and I was just at a point where I'm like, I want to ride this knuckle across country because this is the time to do it. Because
Yeah.
I knew I wouldn't have a lot of time to do it as the kids were getting a little bit older and into sports and things, and making sure I'm there for my wife and the kids. And it just worked out. 7 of us, we got on our bikes, no chase trucks, no trailers, just us and our whatever we had on us, and we went. Man, we did the $1 Million Highway. We stayed in where do we stay? Silverado, Colorado. Is that where you get up to $1 Million Highway or Silverton? We were there. We saw the big steam train engine, and then we did Death Valley. We rode Death Valley during the day, which I don't recommend to anybody. When we got to the last gas station before you go through Death Valley to get to Nevada or whatever it was, and the gas station attendant's like, really? Like, you see all those people over there? They're sleeping. They sleep during the day, and then they'll ride all night tonight. And we're like, no, we got to go. We're running an agenda. And so I actually still have it on my dash of Elvis, but he says, hey, I got this little Route 66 sticker. He goes, can I put it on your dash for good luck? Because he didn't think we were going to make it with these old bikes.
Right.
And we bought a bunch of water. We had it strapped on us. So as we'd be going, we just dump a whole bottle of water on her face, and it was like dry in like 3 seconds. And it was so hot, I had to actually run Elvis. I have a linkered carb. I had to run it 3 clicks up on the choke just to keep it going, because the gas was it was so hot. It was just nothing getting into the cylinders. And we made it, though. We got through it, and it was crazy. But what an adventure. Every night we had something crazy cool. Like, we just stop in some small town with no idea, and we'd end up meeting a bunch of cool people, and they'd take us to a party or do a cookout for us, or you name it. It was a good time.
That's the best too. The small towns and real America. That's it. And they all appreciate the motorcycles. That's super cool. I love that part about it too. Okay, so who is your childhood hero?
When I was a kid growing up, I loved Evel Knievel. I had all of his toys, and I always dreamt. I had my BMX bike and my little dirt bikes and stuff, and I would set up, a wood ramp with car tires and try to jump them. And so I guess Evel Knievel was the guy that I was just always thinking about, wanting to be like him.
It's amazing too how growing up, our generation and some of the different generations. I mean, Miss Gloria, that's Gloria Struck. That's her hero, her motorcycle hero. And it was funny because I was like, come on, tell me, he was hot, right? She just giggled at me, She's so funny. I love her to death. But yeah, he really had an impact on a lot of us as children. I think that a lot of us ended up the way we did because of the fact that you saw him do anything, whatever he wanted. It was the craziest stuff. People always doubted it, but he just stepped up and did it.
He was my Superman. He defied gravity with that bike, man.
He did. With a
couldn't wait
Sportster.
to see it.
It wasn't a dirt bike.
Right.
Right. That's funny. We call them dirt bikes here. So
almost as cool as when when Fonzie jumped the Shark Tank on Happy Days.
Yeah, that was
but that was fake. So
right, Evel did it for real.
Yeah,
and that's cool. So we got Jeremy is here, Catherine Brooks is here, Adley is here. I'm glad you guys are all watching. I'm so happy that you're all here because we have Teach here, and he is amazing. All right, so who's your motorcycle hero then?
You know what? I have 2 of them, and it's my parents, because they've both been riding since they were a young couple, and they still ride. My mom still rides. She's got a shovel head with a sidecar now, because she had battled.
Girl.
she had battled cancer and couldn't ride her Sportster anymore. So Dad triked the Sportster. And then he ended up coming across from a good buddy of his, a nice 77 shovel, that stroker motor all built up. And so he threw a sidecar on it. So now Mom's got a hot rod stroker sidecar shovel she's ripping around on. And
Awesome.
Pop still has his 52 panhead and his 64 police special and his long shovel head chopper. I think it's a 77. And these are all bikes that have been in our family forever that someday I'll,
Amazing.
bring home to my collection and keep forever. But
Right?
yeah, my parents, I grew up even in diapers. I was strapped to the back of one of Dad's sissy bars going to some, festival or parade or you name it.
I love it. That's amazing. The family that plays together stays together. That's the way it goes, And it's Guy Glover is here too. I love that. If you've never met Guy Glover, I have to introduce you. He had the world's fastest gasoline Sportster in the 80s. I worked in his shop. That's where I started. But he just built a 4-cylinder Sportster, like literally welded them to get. He had Dan Toast on the phone at the smokeout till the phone died. They were talking about it. It was so crazy
Sweet.
backwards. So yeah, it's pretty funny. He's
Hi,
a
Guy.
genius there. Hi, Guy. All right. So, what would you consider your most cherished motorcycle memory?
I guess, it goes back to my family, like being in my sidecar. I remember getting in the sidecar, going to watch fireworks with Mom and Dad. That was kind of a tradition for us. We always took the 64 to the fireworks and the parades, and Pop say, he'd put it in reverse and he'd back it up into a spot. And as a little kid, I remember I'd pull the tarp over and I'd go to sleep in it at night because it would get cold going home, and I'd have my snacks down there, and any fireworks I collected, I'd put behind the seat. And those memories to me, like always, that was a big thing why I wanted to get a sidecar bad for when my boys were small, so we could have some fun memories too. So just being in the sidecar with Mom and Dad, going to all the events back when I was a squirt, that was, I can still remember. If I close my eyes, I can picture still being in that like it was yesterday.
I love it. That's amazing. That is one of the best memories that we've had so far. So then my next question is, what is your craziest roadside breakdown story, whether it was you or someone you were traveling with?
I think the craziest one, which it was just because of we had ridden. This is the cross country trip. We left down this way. We were going to California for Born Free. We just got through the Mojave Desert. That was good. We battled storms and you name it. And just as we pull into California, and like where we were in like more civilization again, we weren't in Death Valley in the middle of nowhere. Warren's 58 blew up on them. And we're like, oh shit. Like, we're like, thank God it was here, not in the middle of Death Valley, where we'd been really screwed. And no kidding, all of a sudden a truck goes by with a big trailer and beeps at us, turns around. It's freaking Negotiable Tim. If you know him at all. Yeah. Negotiable Tim's like, hey, I saw them chrome tanks of that knuckle, and I figured I was you teaching. He turns around and he's like, hey, can you throw Warren's bike in your trailer and take us over to Chicago Will's house? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So it was like, oh, this is like crazy. It's like, it was just so nuts that just happened at the right time.
Perfect timing, right? Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good one. I like that one for sure. Okay, so if you could go back and tell your 25-year-old self something, what would it be?
Buy up every knuckle, pan, and Jenny shovel flathead you could and put it in a crate. The stuff has gone through the roof. I mean, I can't believe the prices. Like I'm just fortunate I have so many parts I've collected, because like I can't buy anything anymore. Like I have not bought a new motorcycle part in a long time because I can't afford it. All the prices are just ridiculous. So now I kind of have enough stuff where I'm going to build a couple more bikes through my stash. And then once I use up my stash, it's like, well, then what? I don't know. I love my old truck still. I love my old hot rod, and I just keep busy with something.
Right. Now, do you swap meet parts? You go around and check out?
I don't. It's crazy, but I don't go to swap meets. I don't go to them. I don't sell at them. I just swap meets. I haven't
ever done it.
Swap meets have lost their zing. It's the rich man's gathering now. It's all the kids with a huge wallet of money that are going to pay top dollar for some little crusty thing that they don't even care. They just want it because they can say they have it and put it on the wall. And I stopped going to swap meets when because swap meets are supposed to be. I used to go in with my dad, and you find a part you really need. You explain to the guy selling it, hey, I got this, 52 panhead. This is going on. This is exactly what I need. It's going to go on it. Maybe show him a picture of it, and the guy's like, yeah, that's where I want that part to go. I'll give you, I'll give you a fair price. So I'm happy, you're happy. Now you go to a swap meet, and it's, well, I can get that on eBay then, and you hear that all the time. Like, well, if you don't want to pay it, I'll get it on eBay. And it's like, well, then put it on eBay. That's not what a swap meet's about. Swap meet's supposed to be about camaraderie, and you help dudes out. Like they're building something. Oh yeah, I'll give you a good deal on that part because it's going on that. But it's not that anymore. It's just a bunch of vultures, and it's unfortunately because it's a lot of this newer blood that jumped in on it, and they're just capitalizing on making money on shit. They didn't have that history. I mean, I know guys building tons of cool bikes that when I first met them, they didn't even have a bike. And it's like now all of a sudden they're like the king of old parts and million bikes. And it's like, okay, whatever. It's not me. I'm just gonna do what I do, and we'll let that stuff slide by. I don't have time.
Yeah, and the swap meets used to be small. Like you said, it built a common bond in the community, and the motorcycle community got to know people. And then if they came across something, they'd be like, hey, I know he's got that bike, but back then we used to have to pick up the phone and call too. We didn't just pull it out of our pocket.
That helped a lot. That did. The internet kind of killed all the true swap meeting, and I don't know. It's the swap meets were fun to see people too, but a lot of the old timers aren't around anymore, and those are the guys that you really care to talk to and learn from, and I don't know. It's just to each his own. I know guys who still love going to swap meets, and more power to them. It's not me. I'd rather just sit out back and get a phone call from a buddy going, hey, I know you're looking for this part. I found one. You're interested? I'll get it for you. It's like, all right, thanks, brother.
So now you race. I mean, we've seen pictures of you racing. Are you going to be racing in the near future at all?
As long as my health, is okay, and if I get invited to the right thing where I can make it, yeah. I mean, those pictures you're showing, the sand ones were actually in Milwaukee at the Harley 115th anniversary, so that was cool. Yeah, it was really cool. They first time in 100 years they had bikes on that beach, and Mel from Trog set it up with Harley and invited. I think there was like 20 of us with the vintage stuff, and then there was a bunch of the hooligans and other things out there. But the pictures you were showing of me ripping around with the lake in the background, I was Lake Michigan, and that was Bradford Beach, Milwaukee, where I grew up. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, right there. And that's my 39 knuckle. It's a stroker, short rib time bomb. I call that one. And I ended up taking second place overall that day with just it's actually my my everyday rider where I put the headlight back on it afterwards and rode around and. For those races, I had quick disconnect and took the headlight off, taillight off, and ripped it and ended up taking second, which was fun. And that was a cool thing. And then the ice racing stuff you saw, like I put on a vintage Bike Addiction Polar Devils. My buddy Garrett, he's into the old, pre-30s, 32 and older kind of hot rod stuff. And so he got a hold of me and said, hey, I'm getting all these old cars, these old hot rods that get out on the ice with studded tires. He goes, I want to tap your mind with the bike scene. Can you get bikes out there? And I'm like, oh yeah, I know people with bikes. So we ended up putting out the word to my friends. You can see in that picture, my son Gavin sitting on one of Eric and Jen Bass's bikes, and
over my 35 in the back.
Yeah, that's Gavin on one of Bass's bikes, and then over my shoulders, Thelma. You can see Thelma's back there on her flathead.
Yeah. I see it. That's funny.
And next to Thelma is Eric Bass's sister. So it was fun, man. We had a lot of people show up.
Donna. Her name's Donna. I think her name's Donna, right?
Yeah.
Eric's sister. I think it's Donna. I'll double check that. I love Eric and Jenny. I love all the Basses, no matter how it's spelled.
Yeah.
I love you all for sure.
Yeah, we're him and I are like brothers from another mother. It's funny because when we're hanging out together, we look a lot alike, and it's funny that we're both Basses, but just spelt different. But we get along great. He comes up here every year for my vintage bike show, and they stay at our place. And Amy and Jen get along. Eric and I get along awesome, and so it's fun. But those ice races were really cool. And I put like a flyer on my Instagram for like one day, and all of a sudden Garrett's like, "Hey, dude, that thing's been shared like 400 times." He's like, "You better take it down," because we didn't want it to be big. We were just trying to have maybe 50 people out there.
Right.
So the day of the event came, and I was late getting there because I had Mad Stork and Brian Helm and everybody at my house, and So we were partying all night the night before, and I pull onto the ice around 10 o'clock, and there was like 2,500 people out there. It was crazy.
Holy shit.
I had to like go through security and tell them who I was. Like, hey, I'm one of the guys putting this on just to get to the ice, because it was so ridiculous amount of people that showed up, and it was cool, and we had a good time. We ripped around. The cops, of course, shut us down, earlier than we'd like, but we just kind of played their game and said, yes, sir. And when they pulled off the ice, we just kept racing. It was a good
That's
time.
too funny. Anytime you got stuff going on, let me know, because we'll definitely put it in the events happening so that, we can promote it for sure. All right. So if money and time didn't matter and you could take a road trip on your motorcycle anywhere, where would you go and who would it be with?
I think it would be Amy and myself, and we would try to do around the world trip, go all the way around.
All the way around.
I mean, yeah, and that's like you say, there's no time, no money to worry about.
Right.
That would be my biggest dream. It's just to see places that I'll never see, and to go see it riding through on a motorcycle would be amazing.
I always thought, I'm not much on traveling outside of my country because I don't even have a passport. One day I'm going to get to do that. However, Egypt, I would like to ride past a pyramid on my motorcycle and actually take a picture of that. I think it would be cool. Probably look like a little ant next to it, but it would be cool.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do an Evel Knievel. I'm gonna try to jump a pyramid. I'll go up the side of it and see if I can launch off the other side and land in the sand.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
I'm okay with anybody doing all that crazy shit, except just got to make sure that there's an ambulance next to where we are. Midnight Mike was going to do some jump in New Orleans one time, and I'm like, dude, just call an ambulance and have it sitting there, and I won't pester you. And he's like, why do you keep saying that? I'm like, because you're riding an FLH. Those kids do that jump on a dirt bike. Do you have, I asked him, I said, do you have a cup? And he's like, a what? I'm like, a cup for the dudes. I'm like, because if you do that, the dudes are definitely going to be really hurting bad. And he just looked at me and he goes, maybe I'll rethink that. I was like, I love you, Mike. You're so good.
I've seen him jump a lot of things. He usually can pull through it. And even when he does crash, he gets up and he brushes off it and away he goes.
I just didn't want, my truck was hooked up to the trailer. I did not want to have to drive the truck and the trailer to the emergency room.
Yeah,
you could see it was going to be one of those. But I love him dearly. He's crazy too.
He's awesome.
Love him. So, I guess that would be my next question is if you could tell us something about yourself that other people don't know.
I hate talking on the phone.
I love it. I love it.
That's one thing everybody needs to know, because people are always like, God, you don't answer your phone. I just hate talking on the phone. I can't stand being stuck. I'm ADHD, so maybe that's what it is. Here's my secret. I'm ADHD, and I can't sit still. That's what makes me a good teacher, because I'm as excited to do stuff as the students. It's like I don't like sitting still, and it just for me, like, with that problem, I'm always like squirrel, and I got to go do something, or I want to be. But when I'm stuck on a phone, it's like people just want to talk, and it's like send me a text. I could read all that and give you a reply and still do my other stuff. It's like,
right.
And I know some people are old school and they're like, well, you got to call me. I want to talk. And it's like, sorry, that just ain't me, man. I love seeing people in person, shaking a hand and talking, but on a phone, it's just, whenever I see the phone ring, I'm just like, nope, I'll just see what it was later and text them.
Right. Exactly. Okay. That's cool. And Don's the same, not with the phone, but Don's the same way about the attention that we call it AHDRA. That's what we call it around here. That's
all Harley dregs.
That's because it's like non-stop going through his brain for sure. Okay. And I definitely want to ask you about your 5 good things, but I got to slide this in there. So in research and stuff like that, is it true that Jason Momoa gifted you the first panhead you ever built?
Not me, my son. So that's the cool part of it. So I built that bike, and that was actually the first bike that I brought to the smokeout 20 years ago. So I met Richie Pan on that bike. I met Charlie the Nomad on that bike. I met the Lords of Mayhem guys on that bike, the Shade Tree guys on that bike, and right. Oh man, we had some good times on that thing. And And that was my old ratty pan. And like Richie Pan and I became almost best friends through the years because of that bike. You know, he loved it so much. And and then he loved what I was doing with the kids. You know, he was one of my biggest
Yeah.
supporters of what I was
He
doing.
was always your biggest fan. He raved about anytime your name came up. That was like sometimes your name didn't have to come up. He'd bring it up, and I miss him dearly.
Yeah, he's somebody. Man, that tattoo he did on my arm in the hotel at the smokeout still. It was like I love that this year at the smokeout I was able to get a picture with Cindy next to me in the tattoo. You know,
I
and
saw that. It was
you
good.
know that was fun. But yeah, I guess I'm off track. ADHD squirrel.
Okay, Jason.
What was the question?
Jason Momoa. We were talking about
Oh
Jason.
yeah, Momoa. So that bike was the one I was on forever. So, you know, and then as the years went by, I had to sell it to, you know, I didn't have money.
Kids.
I was a poor school teacher, and
Right.
every bike I built was one piece at a time, Johnny Cash. I get something done, and then I need something, you know, for the family. Amy needs a new
Right.
car, or you know, blah, you know, and whatever it may be. And it's like, I can make a couple bucks on this bike, but it's for my family. So I sold the bike, and it went to a friend of mine, luckily. And all these years later, when Jay came to my house to do the Harley videos, you know, and Jay was awesome. Like he was down to earth. Like when I first, I didn't, you know, I never saw his movies. So before he came, I didn't really know who he was, you know, and it's like, who, you know, Jason Mimosa. I'm like, who is this? And, you know, he showed up and,
Mimosa, I love you.
you know, but
You
yeah,
did
but that's
the
how it is.
videos for the clothing and stuff that they did. They did that. At your
Yeah,
place?
Harley did these videos called United We Ride. So
Right.
it was kind of like pre-pandemic. They were just trying to keep some positive energy going.
And you did that at Bass Acres?
Yep, did a bunch of them at my place, and Amy's in them, and Gavin's in one, and Mason's in one, and I'm Uncle Rowdy in one. But so when they got a hold of me, he got a hold of me to come here, and I'm just like, well, I don't know this guy, and he's a Hollywood guy, and I'm not a big starstruck person, so I was just like, yeah, whatever, as long as he's cool, it's cool, you know. And he showed up, and he showed up, and I was like, okay, it's gonna go two ways. Either it's gonna go really bad, he's gonna be some pompous ass, you know, Hollywood star. It's gonna be bossing us around on our own property and need his nose powdered and blah blah blah. And or it could go the other way, and it totally was the other way. Like he was just cool as hell, down to earth, just you know, we had such a good time. He was no
awesome.
bullshit. And what I loved about him is his mind, like, you know, he's always, he wants to know a story about everything. So if you ever come to my shop, you'll see like my shop, I got a 64 by 45 pole barn. That's kind of my museum of everything through my whole life. So I got little trinkets and parts and pieces and stuff everywhere. And he just spent like hours just looking at stuff, and he'd like, tell me about that, you know, then tell me about this. And he wanted to hear the story, which was cool because he cared. Like he didn't just see, oh yeah, neat stuff. You know, he was like, what is that? Where'd you get it from? And blah, blah. And that's how the knuckle axes came with Nash now. And that's another whole long story. But anyway, so he came, he was awesome. We got along great. Well, the last day before he was getting ready to leave, and that was when Minneapolis was starting to burn down because of George Floyd. He was like, I gotta go. He's like, I wish I could. He was only gonna stay for 2 days. He ended up staying for 4 because we were getting along so good and everything was going good. And well, that last day, we were talking about something, and he saw a sticker on my door, and it says Aloha Monkey Tattoo, and it's a monkey bent over, and the butthole is the O for Aloha.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I know that sticker. That's from Hawaii. I said, yeah, you know, it's my buddy Josh Arment, you know, Ed Hardy, you know, that's, you know, his son worked for him. And he's like, oh my God, does he have like shirts and stuff? I'm like, yeah. And this was like on a Sunday. And I call it, he's like, can we go see it? And I said, I don't know, let me see it. I said, Josh, is the shop open? He's like, nah, you know, we're not. And I said, well, I got somebody here that really wants to come check it out. Would you be willing to open it up for us? And I told him who it was. And, you know, he was like, kind of like, what, really? Like, what the hell's he doing at your house? You know? And I couldn't tell anybody he was coming.
Right.
So like the whole town while we're doing this, nobody knew until afterwards. And everybody's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I couldn't. I had to sign a contract that I would not tell people, because what happens is you get 1,000 people
bombarded. Yeah.
And then he just leaves. He just pulls the plug and leaves, and you get nothing out of it. So Josh was like, cool, let's go. So we went over there, we started talking, and Jay sees that, you know, this bike. And he's like, I know that bike. Where is that bike from? And I said, I wrote a book, How to Build School Bar. He's like, holy shit. He's like, I bought that book. He said, I bought your book and Billy Lane's book to build my first panhead for my first movie, Road to Paloma. and that's actually a really good movie where he's riding his old panhead through the desert.
It is, yes.
So he's like, why didn't you have that bike still? You know, and I told the story, I had to sell it, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you need that bike back. You know, that should be one of your kids. You know, I say, yeah, you know, I wish I could. I wish I could keep them all. You know, if I was rich, man, I'd keep them all, but I'm a school teacher. I'm living
Right.
check to check. So I save a little, build a bike. And then if something happens, we need a new vehicle. Well, sorry, I can't afford a new vehicle. I got to sell a bike to buy mom a new car. You know, it's just the way we are, you know, and
that's how it goes.
You know,
Same on this end.
Yep. And so Josh had bought the bike for me. Well, Josh had talked about selling it back to me. So Jay's like, hey, can I buy this bike? And they went in the back room. Next thing I know, Jay comes out. He goes, yeah, I bought the bike. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, and so I go get it and I pull into my barn with it. And again, there was a story about the book. You know, he saw it in the book and whatever. And I'm showing him all the pictures of that. And we're talking about some stuff. And then Gavin was standing there and he goes, Gavin, sit on your dad's panhead. And Gavin sits on it and he's just like, and Jay's like, how's it feel? And he's like, oh, really cool. It's cool, man. You know, it's whatever. Neat to see dad built this so many years ago. And Jay's like, good. I'm glad you like it. Because he goes, in 3 years from now, I'm going to give it to you for your birthday. And we're like, are you kidding me? Like, we're crying. Gavin's crying. I'm crying. Jay's crying. Amy, the camera crew came in, was filming it. And we couldn't believe it. And, you know how it is. Things get said sometimes, so I didn't want to be hounding. I'm like, hey, when's that bike coming? When's that bike coming? And I just let it be. And all of a sudden, I get a phone call, you know, that a bike's getting delivered to our house. It was end of April, and Gavin's birthday is May 5th. So he's a Cinco de Mayo baby.
Is that the picture of him sitting in the garage?
Yep, that's right after. That's right after we got it back. So
wow,
there it is. We rolled it in. He sat on it.
That's amazing.
He's got dad's first panhead now.
That's so cool. I am so I think that's awesome. That is fantastic. He's on my list. I have the whole list of people someday I'd like to have on the show. He's on there. Him, Queen Latifah, you know, Karen and Bill said they'd be on the show. So I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting in my celebrity stuff. I mean, I got you here. I've had some really good icons in our world. Like, you know that you're iconic, right? You do know that because we do appreciate everything you do.
I appreciate it. You know, it's to me, I'm just still a school teacher, you know, so it's fun to know I made an impact more than just with my students, but outside the industry, you know, outside the school walls in the industry, and people appreciate what I do. And, you know, and if nobody did, I'd say, hey, tough shit, I'm still doing it because I know it's good for kids, but it's pretty cool when you got support behind you and people want to see you succeed and they want to help you succeed. So I appreciate all you know, just to be on here tonight is amazing. To tell my story and have people that probably don't know who I am be like, who is this guy? He's a teacher. I got to look him up, you know, and never know.
Right. Just don't call him on the phone. You know,
don't call me. Don't call me.
Well, and not
forget about it.
Most people know who you are, but that's the one part I love about doing the show is everybody gets to know who you are as a person. You know what I mean? They see the headlines, they see the articles in the magazines, all that stuff like that. But then we have so many people that are commenting, you know, because everybody does appreciate everything that you do. And I know I do. You set a fantastic example of what a mentor and a community leader is for people who are younger than us. You know what I mean? They see what you're doing and they know that you, with everything you've been through, always strapped, no budget, and you do it, you know, and they say, well, you know, I'd like to be like him and do that and give back. Because what a lot of people don't find until they do it is the things that you do with the kids and in the motorcycle community, it fills you up inside. It makes you have those great big smiles when the world sometimes shits on you. You know what I mean? And you just keep going. So, absolutely. All right. So the last thing that I'm going to ask you is to give me your 5 good things, 5 things that you're happy and grateful for.
I guess the number one main thing is I'm grateful for my wife, Amy, and our 3 healthy boys, you know, and you know, just a fulfilling family life we have here. We have good times together. We ride together. We support each other. And I can't never forget that, you know. And second thing is, you know, my mom and dad both battled cancer and beat it. So they're both alive and well still, which I'm very fortunate for.
Awesome.
You know, I know a lot of good friends. My wife's father passed away of cancer, and, you know, a lot of friends of ours have lost their lives to that nasty disease. And, you know, I just keep praying for everybody out there. And, you know, I feel fortunate that my parents were able to get it out of them, and so far be healthy, and hopefully that keeps going. And the other thing I'm really grateful and thankful for is just my career, what I was able to do, because I was a troubled youth. I was a troublemaker. I was a shyster. I was a little, badass fighting and doing stuff, but my shop classes kind of tamed me down and showed me where to put all that energy. And I'm so thankful that I was able to keep going with that and become the teacher to help the same kind of kids, and, definitely Bass Acres here where I live. Like, this is our paradise. It's hard for me to get away to go play stuff because I just love being home and all the stuff we got going on, which is crazy. And I guess the fifth thing would have to just be, all of you, all you out there, everybody who has me on, and all of my brothers and sisters in this big crazy game, that we're doing, and just everybody's having fun. And you can't put a price tag on true, genuine friendships and memories and lifelong connections you've made, and I'm just grateful for that.
That is so true. And those are fantastic 5 things. I cannot thank you enough. I'm so grateful that you came on tonight, and so happy because I always love to see you. I don't ever get to see you enough, even though we see each other throughout the year, but it's a wonderful thing. And, make sure that if you get buried in snow and you're just like, I can't take it anymore, I tell everybody we got a nice yard here by the shop. You can park trailers, come down, ride to the Keys while it's snowing and you're buried there. Just bring the trailer with the bikes and, take the week vacation. Maybe I have to plan for next year for Christmas break to come and have a lighted palm tree with the rest of us.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Family. Yeah, bring mom and dad too. They'd love it. We could just have a big old, listen, kids, pets, and older folks. That's me all day long. I'm good with that.
I think as our boys get out of the house, Amy and I are gonna definitely look for more warmer destinations during the winter to kind of ease the sting of the bitter cold. So we'll definitely be looking all you up that live in the warmer climates for some adventures as we get to that point in life, where we can start traveling.
Anytime. Nobody comes this far south. They go to Daytona, but they won't come this far south. Most of them are afraid of it. It's okay though. That's why we reserve the fun for ourselves. But it is a good time, and not for anything. I mean, it's always worth a little romp in the sun, like I said, when it's really cold. Empty nesting is really crazy though. I can honestly say that. You think, oh yeah, as soon as they're out, we're gonna just go. I mean, there's a lot more hanky-panky running around the house, because there's no kids in the house. That's the best part. That is it. There's way more time for that. However,
I know my wife's on here listening. So hey, did you hear that?
It's just, and it's a thing. But the weird thing about it is you have to retrain yourself to cook. Like, you cook for 2, whereas you cook for, like us, we had 3 kids too. So like, you cook this monstrous amount of stuff, and by the time they eat, their friends eat, and then you eat, there's a lot. It takes like a good year before you learn to size things down when you go to the grocery store. It's crazy the stuff you'll put in the fridge, and you'll go a week later and you're like, God, why is that all smushy or rotten? Because you haven't touched it because you've been chasing each other around the house, and there's not as many people there to eat it. So it's kind of fun.
I can't wait for that on the wallet, the money we'll save. That'll be nice.
No, don't think that's no, because no matter what, no matter how grown they are, there's always a, Mom, can you help me out?
True.
My helmet sticker says money isn't everything, but it keeps the kids in touch.
That's it. Yeah, Don's helmet sticker says money isn't everything, but it keeps the kids in touch, for sure. Well, Teach, I can't thank you enough for being here. I absolutely love you.
Thanks for having me.
Tell Miss Amy I said thanks for covering the slack out there at the plasma cutter. And we'll have to have her on sometime too. I would love to. That would be amazing. She is an absolutely amazing woman, and she would be inspirational to a lot of women that watch this. So, as you are to everyone who watches it. And if I can ever do anything, I'm always here.
Thanks. We love you. Appreciate you.
We love you too. All right. And then I will see you later. Mwah. Okay. All right, everybody. I say it all the time. How lucky am I? I have some of the most incredible guests on this show, and they even let me have my dealy boppers. Thanks, babe, for letting me wear my dealy boppers. As silly as I looked, Don didn't say I look silly. So, all right. So, okay, my afterthought. My afterthought is real quick tonight, okay? It's the holidays. Be holiday cheerful. Be kind. Don't be grumpy. Don't be a Grinch. Don't be, Mr. Stooge. Don't rain on anybody's parade. If you have no other option to do anything else, smile. Be happy. Don't, spread the joy. Like I tell everybody, remember to spread your sunshine, even on the rainy days. Be kind to yourself and others, because it matters. Okay, don't forget about the contest. Send me a paragraph about the first trip that you will take with this Viking bag. Okay, and you can do that, as I said, athenaafterdark.com. You can chat, athenaafterdark at AOL. You can email, and through Facebook Messenger on the Athena After Dark page, you can go ahead and send a message. New Year's show, which will be on New Year's Day, we will definitely be giving this bag a new home for its first adventure. Okay. All right. And then next week, we have a great guest. I said it. Beverage, cool dog. Colors are blue and
A
yellow.
question came in.
Oh, we have a question?
It's up on your screen.
Oh,
wait, where'd it go?
Where'd it go? Okay.
Where did it go?
What do I have on my head? Rogue. They're snowmen. I love you so much. They're like little dealy boppers. I don't know. I walk past some dumb crazy stuff and I figure I love you, Rogue. Just so you know, you are my hero. That man is incredible. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Next week, Billy Grotto, Twisted Tea. I said it. Come back and watch us. We're going to have a great time. Thanks to Teach for being here. Make sure that you check out the website, and I'll have all his information for contact if you want to participate by sponsoring or donating to his chopper class. It's fantastic. And again, we're going to list events coming up. The website is changing. I'm adding stuff. But lately, I'm a one-legged woman in an ass-whooping contest with two snow people. Okay. I love you all. Have a great week. We'll see you next Monday, 10 p.m. Have a nice chopper day.